Hi, welcome all to the first episode of Toy Talk. We will do a focus review on a newly released action figure or set. Please stay till the end as we need your help with the people's voice part of the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. So let's dive right in. My name is Joel and this is Toy Talk for Toy Reel. Today we're reviewing the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Bebop and Rocksteady. For me, this was the pack that sealed it. I needed to get all the cartoon turtles and I needed to get these two guys as well as Shredder and Krang. As you can see, this is just a beautiful set. It's like the cartoon film cell has jumped to life and straight into figure form. Can't say enough about this pack. It's just beautiful with the artwork. Even the box art itself is beautiful. You can see down the bottom the other sets available with the newer lighting shading on the turtles. And you can also see a couple of foot soldiers down there, which definitely great for army builders, especially that 2-pack that's coming out. Nice close-ups of both the figures and just how impressive these guys are. So let's crack these guys open and see what's inside. So just a bit of a note on how that when we're unpacking. Very well secured like NECA does, everything tied down, tape over all the little accessories so they don't wobble around. Unfortunately, as you can probably see here, I don't have the spare or alternate hands for Bebop. They were missing out of the pack, so I'm going back to the company I bought them off trying to get them replaced. But I'll try not to focus on that even though it is a bit disappointing, and we'll get into it. So one of the first things you notice when you're getting them out of the pack is the joints. Very, very stiff. Now these joints aren't a straight plastic joint. They're a plastic with a paint coating. Now because of the rubber that's on it, it's a little bit flimsy. The joints are very stiff and it feels like you're going to snap them if you try to force them too much. Now what I did was, and hopefully you can see it here, is heated up the joints so that I could get a bit of movement in, although you will notice in some parts of the joints the paint has actually fully scraped off and it's actually the bare plastic underneath that's now in view. So be very careful when you're unpacking these guys. When you're looking at Bebop over here though, you can see you've got the loose chain at the front, loose chain on his arm. I love that they're not moulded in. You also got the skull necklace that's hanging loose and the soft goods on the shoulders so you can get a bit of movement around as well. Now his glasses will lift up, however the paint inside I've noticed don't really look like Bebop's eyes from the cartoons, but they're the perfect look if his glasses are down. But when I put my glasses down, you can't really tell the pupils are there. One side's just a little bit off center, so it doesn't quite come through. But again, it's only a little problem there. Other than that, can't say enough about this guy. I mean, just look at him. The belt goes right around the back. Moving over to Rocksteady now. Again, I can't say too much bad about this guy. Same issues with the joints. He does look a little more dirty, I guess you would say. Now, I'm not sure if that was intentional with the paint job or not. It doesn't translate too badly, but you will see some scuffing on the tops of him. The major gripe with him is I remember having the old knife that used to come with the original vintage 80s turtle from Playmates, and unfortunately this one's fully moulded in. So it's a nice accessory to have, but not one that comes loose, which a lot of people probably wanted to pose him up like they used to have on their shelf. His belt is very loose, so it will slide up under his belly. Just be careful of that one. It will hinder articulation when you go to do that. And articulation's the other thing with these ones, which you don't get a lot of, sadly. There's enough, but probably not as much as what some do want for taking photos. So when you go to move the arms up, you can only get them up to about that high before it starts to pinch and scratch onto itself. That's because he's so muscly. What they've done is a design choice of going for articulation lacking, whereas aesthetically more pleasing. So they try to get it more like what he looks like and haven't really thought as much about how it's going to translate into a figure that moves. And that's the same as when he goes to pump his arms. he will be able to get his arms all the way up to that sort of thing with a double jointed elbow. The only place on Bebop where I'm sort of having a bit of issue, besides the shoulders not going up, a little bit restricted but not much, is the shoes. The cuffs on the shoes, unfortunately, not a lot of movement there. Can get to about there and to there. And that's all we get with him for moving his feet, which is sad, but I guess unless you're having him in a running pose, if he's just standing on your shelf, it's not going to matter too much. With the accessories, we've got the rifles. Sadly, just the two of them. They're identical. We don't get the screw gun. We don't get the knife as the old Playmates one used to have. And we just get the single blasters as well. But the big standout for this pack of accessories, and I hope you can see that okay there, is an actual picture of what looks like the figure inside the communicator. That's a brilliant little bit of printing there. Love the fact that they've gone for not the cartoon look on it, but for the actual figure look of who they're trying to communicate with. Now it's time to size these guys up. Let's see what the tail of the tape says. So you're looking at about Bebop 17 centimeters. What's that? 6 1/4 inches, and just a little bit shorter for Rocksteady. As we compare the two vintage and the new Rocksteady together, very, very nice. Size-wise, just all over it with the NECA stuff. Hands down the clean winner here, but still keeping those touches that we love, the nostalgia. Bebop again, very similar. I like how they've still got the little skulls and the chains in the right areas. Chains being movable, skull being movable, just beautiful. One thing I did notice when we put the vintage one up against Bebop though, he's got a tail on the vintage one, and now I have to go back and double check to see if he had a tail in all of the cartoons as well. Up against the Marvel Legends Daredevil, if you know the lore of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you'll know why I chose this figure in the Marvel Legends range to put him up against. Again, scales brilliantly with it, and it'll be really good to do any crossover with genres in the future for any photos in ACBA. So now, getting to the end of the review, what do I think? Honestly, this is a brilliant set. Yes, I've noticed some downfalls of it. However, this is probably going to go down for me personally, the best 2 set on the market this year. It's only early, but I'm calling it now. I can't see any other sets that I know about now that are going to blow this one out of the water. Thanks for listening to my first review for Toy Reel. Now comes your part. I need your help to come up with a catchphrase. I'm going to be checking the comments every single time I do a video, and I'll be choosing one of those to put at the end of my next review. So fire away in the comments and let me know what you would like me to say as my conclusion in the next Toy Talk. And I'll give you a shout out at the end of my next review and say your catchphrase. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that little bell, get your notifications. See you on the next Toy Talk.